Assalamualaikum Imam Mohsen.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I want to ask, who is allowed not to fast in Ramadan?
Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala al-mab'uth rahmatan lil-alamin. Sayyidina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Actually, there are some people allowed for them not to fast in Ramadan. There are some types of people. Number one, the sick person. If the fasting will harm his body. And we have to know there are two types of sickness. The first one, the temporary sickness. And the second one, the permanent sickness. So, if a person having permanent sickness and the medical doctor, Muslim medical doctor, recommend him not to fast in Ramadan, he allowed not to fast in Ramadan. For the temporary sickness, if a person can fast and the fasting will not harm his body, no problem, he can fast. But if also the Muslim medical doctor advised him not to fast because the fasting will weaken his body and will make the cure of his sickness will be more late, at that time it's allowed for him also to not to fast in Ramadan. The first one, the one who have the permanent sickness, he will not fast in Ramadan, but he has to pay fidya, ransom, for every day of Ramadan to feed one person. So instead of not fasting one day of Ramadan, he will feed one person every day in Ramadan. For the other person who have the temporary sickness, he will not fast according to the recommendation of the Muslim medical doctor, but he has to pick up what he missed after Ramadan. If he missed some days, he has to pick them up after the great month of Ramadan. So this is the first person, he can or he allowed not to fast in Ramadan, the sick person. Number two, also for the woman in her monthly period or after delivering her baby. In this time, it's not allowed for her to fast in Ramadan, because according to many ahadith, it's not allowed for the woman during her period to fast in Ramadan, and also not to pray even the 5 times the prayers is not allowed for her to pray. But after Ramadan, she has to pick up what she missed in Ramadan. She has to pick up the day she missed fasting in the great month of Ramadan. But for Salat, no need to pick up the Salat. Number 3, for the pregnant and breastfeeding woman, it's allowed for her to not to fast in Ramadan, and inshallah we will talk in details in another video about the rules of the pregnant and the breastfeeding not to fast Ramadan. We'll talk in details inshallah in another video. Also, it's not allowed or allowed for a person to not to fast in Ramadan if he is traveling. Traveler person, if he is traveling, and this traveling according to the traveling which allowed a person to make qasr for salat, also allowed him to not to fast in Ramadan. But also we have to talk in details in this point to say that if fasting will not harm a person during his traveling, better for him not to break the fast, to continue fasting. If the fasting will not harm his body, better for him to fast. if fasting during traveling will harm his body, will weaken his body, and difficult for him, at that time, better for him to break fasting and to pick up what he missed in Ramadan after Ramadan, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. Also, another person allowed not to fast in Ramadan, the old age people. The old age people which the fasting is very difficult for them and they cannot fast in Ramadan, it's allowed for them not to fast in Ramadan because of their old age, and the ability for fasting is not allowed for them. So it's allowed not to fast in Ramadan and to feed for each day fidya, to feed one person for each day of Ramadan, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. There is one point also maybe need to explain. If a person because of old age he became out of controlling his mind and everything, at that time some scholars said this person even doesn't need to feed, doesn't need to give fidya, because he became like out of question by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he in somehow lost controlling his mind. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.